So, welcome everyone to our Good of the Call for Wholeness, and inviting everyone to mute yourselves. We're coming together this morning in resonance, hosted by Good of the Whole, for the 7 days of rest. And many of us have been gathering together for over 5 years, really understanding that we are planetary stewards, really committed to the good of the whole. And we come into this resonant circle for to really gather at what we call the watering hole, or come into resonance, really deepening into this field of oneness, this field of love, this field of interconnectivity. So this morning, we've had a few public resonance calls, but this one is really opening for 2018, and standing in for supporting the 7 days of rest, really coming together for the healing and recalibration of the planet and all nations, all inhabitants. So I want to say Happy New Year to everyone, and thank you for being a part of this virtual community today, to bring your heart to the center of this circle. And the way this call works is I'm going to share a little bit about Good of the Whole, and we begin with a resonance, with a deepening into the center of our hearts, our collective heartbeat, really feeling that sense of unification. And then it's a participatory call. We want you to participate with a few guidelines. So I'll be sharing just what those few guidelines are to help us really listen and to speak from our essential selves as the field itself. And that's the beauty of this Global Heart Resonance call, how to fully come and gather in this field, sharing our voice, inspiring each other, and speaking to the whole. So a little bit different than, hi, this person or that person or that. We really understand that, and we'll get to learn more about each other as we come onto the calls. But for today and for these next 7 days, this call is really to ignite and amplify our message with greater peace and love for the earth and her children, and creating this beautiful, sacred, collective space, moving and with the focus on restoration, and that this heart resonance call is a place to experience and embody and express our natural wholeness, and that together we are understanding that we're whole beings contributing to and in service of a greater whole. And that's really the essence of Good of the Whole. And that we're understanding that as we are serving the greater whole, we're serving the individual. Our bodies relax, we open, we feel this sense of yes and willingness to step into our greater expression. So I'm just going to open with a heart resonance. And the invitation here is to simply, except if you're driving, to just relax and close your eyes, soften your body, and really drop into this collective field together. So as we're breathing, a good place to start in this New Year's is just simply with a connection to our heart. And breathing in, opening to that sense of wonder, that sense of joy, this liquid field of love. So we're just softening into our bodies, breathing in and letting go. And many of us are very focused on this new year and what we're calling here restolutions, but simply trusting this field to inform us. So we're breathing and we're connecting in with the mother, the earth, Breathing down deep into her body, acknowledging her presence, this divine feminine frequency. And as we're breathing that up into our hearts, we open our awareness to this vast spaciousness, this cosmic connection to the whole. We bring our attention up above the crown of our heads, connecting in and opening to that ancestral lineage, everything that's come before, the beauty, the deep presencing of those that have come before, and that information that's at the edge of our awareness. And we acknowledge our guides and guidance and all those supporting that movement in the circle of light into the circle of wholeness. And we breathe that down into our heart, the sacred space of the heart. And we begin this call with gratitude today, gratitude for every experience in 2017, knowing that each experience, challenge or not, is an opportunity to step into our greater wholeness, to be a fuller expression of that love. And we hold that gratitude for how we're showing up in deep reverence and remembrance. And this morning's call, this call to wholeness, for the good of the whole, that every action, every compassionate movement is for the good of the whole. We drop into that deepest resonance and consciousness of evolution as it's expanding and growing within and without. And we just allow this morning for the sense of harmony and building a field of coherence together. So with that, just take another breath in deep appreciation of everyone who's here, and we open this call. So welcome, everyone. So happy to see you. This is very exciting. So many of us came together about 5 years ago, and through the mentoring of Barbara Marx Hubbard, and really began to consciously live from this field of resonance. And over the years, we've discovered that this living being, this field itself, is a living being. And by coming together, we can keep our focus on the field itself. So this morning, we are gathering together to cultivate this interconnected field of wholeness. And the way that this call works is because there are a lot of people on, there are just a few guidelines. And so what those guidelines are simply an invitation to communicate from the field itself, to focus on the field, to listen as people are speaking to what the emerging thread is. And to speak to that wholeness, speak to that place that informs us and births new solutions. So there's a lot of joy here. And we really encourage the pause in between people speaking. The tendency is to get all excited and start to feel this bubble and just jump right in. And we invite just that sense of pause, that being in that liminal space where we can be informed, where we can be inspired and inspire the group. And we ask that simply everyone speaks pretty much 1 to 2 minutes, and to really keep it concise, what is being shared. And we just use a crystalline talking stick, this virtual talking stick, to just pass it on and to receive each one fully. So again, just to speak to the whole. You might notice that something really turns you on and you want to acknowledge that person. But here we're inviting this to actually not do that, to speak again to as if you're speaking to the center of the circle. So coming into this oasis to be received and nurtured, we'll just take a breath. And this morning, we a few of us got together and began this this movement, and just opening with, what is that feeling of wholeness? What is it? How does it express itself? How does it manifest? You know, and to understand that our actual heartbeat really creates this powerful field, generates this field. And that together today, as we're in this field for the 7 days of rest, to know that we are expressing this promise and this purposing, this deeper purposing here for all, to hold that field for all generations. So with that, I'm just going to open and invite you to be the expression of this field, this love, this interconnectivity. So I'm going to put myself on mute, and when you want to speak, you feel that, then just unmute yourself and jump in. Hello? Can you hear me, Sharon? Yes, we can.
This is Ariana.
Hi.
Hi. Just what really pulled me in, because I just saw this, I guess I just saw it this morning, was the invitation, the word rest, the concept of resting, and I didn't read your whole description, but for me, just when I focus on the feeling or the thought of 7 days of rest, or the concept of rest, is very, very healing and nurturing and expansive for me. So that's like what I'm experiencing in this resonance, is the power of the invitation, just the invitation to rest, just the, having permission to rest. And in terms of like my own heart or a global heart, like inviting the heart the global heart to rest is huge.
Good morning. Resting in the heart, resonance. Following that thread, Oriana, I do feel this gift and the gratitude of just a reminder we're resting. We are resting in our hearts, and from that can come the true intelligence of the heart and playfulness. It's such a joy it is to, if we allow ourselves that, to, after for me many years of trying to push into some sort of a what I think it should be, what I think is expected, what life, I think, I just was reading about how often we forget the true gift that we have within ourselves, a masterpiece, actually, that resides within us, who we truly are. And in thinking we have to be somebody else, or thinking, how can, I don't know, not trusting that, not really knowing that, not allowing ourselves to know who we truly are. And spending so much energy and tension trying to put together something on the surface that we think maybe we should be, that the world expects us to be. And no, there's something much more within us to, if we just rest in that heart of who we are. I think it's a wonderful thing that we're doing here. There was something you said that earlier, Shelley, that the good of the whole. To rest in that, the good of the whole. Pretty soon that just becomes who we are. I mean, what our intention is as we rest in that, as we realize that is my true intention for the good of the whole, for the highest good of all concerned. And anyway, here we are. I'm really grateful to be back. I've been without internet for about a month, it seems. So I'm sorry. Wonderful to see you again. I'm complete.
I'll follow that thread. This is Julie, and just for myself to speak this, to remind myself and remember the theme of resting and giving ourselves permission to rest is a really big piece for me. It's an important piece for me. I have literally, my mother didn't have much, but she was a hard worker, and everybody around town acknowledged my mom for how hard she worked in the hardware store. And if anybody wanted anything, they would go in the hardware store and they'd ask for Connie, because she knew where everything was and she could get you fixed up, and she was a hard worker. And then I married another one of those that is go, 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 do, work, 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 work. And so literally we're out here at the lake and they're next door at the cabin working really hard. And so this is the 7 days of rest. And I get to contemplate what that really means and how we integrate that into our lives. And for me, creating that balance and that rest. And so, so thank you for bringing that into the thread and reminding me again, giving ourselves permission that this is an important part of who we are. This is an important part of our healing individually and collectively, and our the wholeness of who we are needs rest. So thank you, and thank you for hosting this and having this here and creating this space of rest. I'm complete.
I'm going to just jump in here for one more moment. Thank you. So following that thread, I just realized that rest comes from within. And even if I'm in a place where it's really calm and peaceful and by the water, that the deep experience, the living experience of rest is within me. As and just tapping in here this morning, I can feel my body just beginning to soften and relax. So I just wanted also just to mention, for those who are on the phone, we want to make sure just say who you are, to say your name before you speak on this call, because there are people who aren't seeing us visually. And if you are on a phone, you can swipe left and you'll get more of the gallery view. So I didn't do that in the beginning. I wanted to make sure everyone knew that. So I'm complete and whole, and I pass this virtual, beautiful crystalline talking stick.
So good morning. My name is Kathy Wallace, and I'm from Red Deer, Alberta, Canada. I think one whole piece of human existence that's been taken from us by the conditioning of the patriarchy is this place of rest. And I call it the fecund void of all that is, of unlimited possibility. And this void for me is the place of rest and no mind. And it's a powerfully creative space that births totally unexpected and new steps forward in our evolution. So in my experience, all answers ultimately come from this place of the great mystery. That for me is the place of rest. And that's what feeds our collective field of evolutionary growth and the good of the whole. So may we rest and may we grow on. Thank you, everyone. I'm complete.
This is Shanti Hart. I will jump in and do a little weaving with this thread as well. And rest, yes, is an interesting subject. And I too had working environment to grow up in, and they only knew how to work, and I sort of tried that, did a lot of that myself. And so for me, a lot of my adult life, resting was collapsing in bed and exhaustion and sleeping and I'm trying to, I have been learning, I'm not trying, I am now intentionally taking pauses and rests. And so linking that, the pause, the moment of rest, the rest in music is just a break. And that was probably one of the hardest things, learning to meditate was, okay, follow the breath. The breath goes in, the breath goes out. But then when I don't know who I read it from, was take the breath in and hold it, then let the breath out. And so it was the holding point that started teaching me the rest, because that was the break. And so today I'm feeling a little overwhelmed. January 1st, new year, time to rest. Oh, got to start resting. That's the agenda for today. But today's like a transition day. It's like, okay, I'm in a race. Am I in a race? I mean, a human race, but I just ended the race of 2017. So today, yes, I shall rest with you all and take the pause, take the breath and hold it. And I'm complete.
Hi, this is Barb, and I love the thought of the pause between the music, because that is what really makes the music. And, you know, if we just had a whole bunch of notes all strung together and no pauses, how would that be? It would be hard to follow. It would be confusing. And so the pause is a good thing. And I'm taking advantage of that today. I'm taking advantage of Shanti's hospitality and pausing in the city. And we just have a few things we have to take care of, and then we can just pause. And I'm excited to be part of this 7 days of rest, and I hope to take full advantage of it. And I know that me doing so will be for the good of the whole of my family, and I will be a better person and more easy to get along with. And that's all good. So thank you. I'm complete.
Good morning, everyone. This is Bob. And I am very grateful for this pause, and very grateful to those that have organized today and the next 7 days to invite the world, but also invite me to find the pause moment. I mean, 2017. Holy shit. Come on. And those were all the notes together without any pauses, it felt like at times. That was just unbelievable, incoherent, disruptive noise. Yes, there were amazingly positive things in 2017 as well. And so the offering of this to spend some time is really blessed. An hour here in this pause is, for me, instead of an hour of watching Democracy Now!, which I feel very important, because my great-great-grandchildren come to me in dreams and ask what was I doing when the things that are happening in this world that are so disruptive were going on. and what role was I playing in that? And I realized this is helping me realize that I need to, part of my answer to those great-great-grandchildren in the dream needs to be that I also was taking care of myself and was rejuvenating myself in the pause moments, as well as all the other things that I feel it's imperative that I be informed about and take action into for a better world today and a better world for them. So I am deeply grateful for this moment of pause, and deeply grateful for those that have organized it in this way. Thank you.
This is Dana. For a while, I've been hearing and then saying out loud, slow down to the rhythms of Mother Nature. And I'm understanding that I have been moving at such a pace in my mind that I had actually created an inner frenzy and was using up energy I didn't really have. Feeling like, oh, it's up to me to change the world. I came here. This is my life purpose. And without me, whatever. And then I realized that through my collaborating and co-creating with Good of the Whole stewards and the retreats we have held and the level of wholeness at which we live and connect, recognizing a home frequency, a vibration that is that peaceful wholeness of which we are. And that is what I feel we are consciously intentioning, is to hold that home frequency. And it certainly requires a quiet mind and stillness to actually even hear it or connect with it. I was sharing earlier that I was able to hold my new grandson of like 18 days on my heart for hours the other day. That stillness, that's wholeness, that's of which we are. And I'm understanding the pause, the stillness is simply to allow receivership of that frequency to move through us into the field of experience. And I give thanks that we're recognizing the power of the pause. It's really our point of creation. I'm complete.
Hi, this is Linda, and I love to follow the thread of the pause and our busyness. And I was so looking forward to day one of the 7 days of rest. There's a lot of behind the scenes action that's been going on in preparation to rest, and it's been a little ironic that we were waiting for this moment. And what I would love to do is from this day one through day 7, just like our meditation practice, or our breathing in and breathing out and holding and the pause in between, is that this continue in my life every day, not just 7 days of rest, but to take the time to appreciate self-care and rest and doing what makes my heart sing, which is usually most all the time anyway. But just remembering and knowing that globally this event is tapping into so many beautiful ceremonies and people and experiences to help us remember to pause and to rest and to recalibrate and reboot our systems and get them healthy again and not overstress them. So this is the year 2018 to really move into a deep peace that allows us to take action, so that our great-great-grandchildren in our dreams will say, oh, you did something to make the world better for the whole of the world. But it takes the resting and the restoring so that we can be strong and healthy to do what we need to do. So there's this beautiful balance, just like an in-breath and an out-breath, that we can continue every single day. That's my hope and dream, that the 7 days of rest is doing for the good of the whole planet. And each individual person is number one in that chain of events. So that's my intention for this, and I'm so grateful, Shelley, that you've put this together, and for Shelley Ostroff, who's put the 7 days of rest together. And I don't want to be naming a lot of names, but it's just that we're in this space of togetherness, and that's very satisfying. We're not alone, and we're doing good work. So I love you all. I'm complete.
I'm going to grab that virtual talking stick, and because in that sharing, what I became aware of was that this event was initiated from Jerusalem and the old city, and where that way of love was being brought forth through Yeshua, Mary Magdalene, and that this is not something new, this is something true. And that this experience of this home frequency is a unified feeling within our cells, the cellular structure of both the divine masculine and the divine feminine, that structuring, that organization with that love, restoration, and balance. And that in our wholeness, we're becoming masterful or adept at this presencing. Because for me, this is the experience here, is this presencing of wholeness, is the return, that sense of belonging, that sense of returning to oneself, not as an egoic or, but as something fully embraced. It's this experience, this restorative practices that we're engaging in here that deepens this sense of being. And the other piece for me is this sense of support. We're looking at, for those of us that are on the computer, we can see, and at the very end I'll explain how on the phone you can also see who is on, but we're just seeing this quilted expression of one, this quilted expression of love expressing itself through us and as us. And so I just feel humbled and in gratitude. And we're building that experience together for many people to tap into. So with that, I'm whole and complete, and offer up this beautiful crystalline talking stick. And again, don't forget to unmute yourself and trusting your voice, even if it's just simply to say hi and presence yourself. That's really, really, really okay here, especially in the beginning, for sure.
Hello, this is Henry. I'm having some problems with the technical, so I'm on my phone and I'm seeing the visual. So it is great to be here with you all. I feel like the place of rest is returning to that place of oneness. And yet at the same time, I'm seeing all these radiant individualities here expressing. So we have that field. It's like freshly fallen snow. That is the attractor for the child to just run out and play and open to the possibilities that are there. So we're in like the field of possibility. And I love that. One of my favorite quotes is from Emily Dickinson. It just says, I dwell in possibility. And here now, as we enter this field together, it's like the quantum field that connects us, not just on the levels that we're visually seeing, but connects us on all of those multidimensional levels, whereas we are become clearer in our intention for this moment, for this coming year, that as we expand and open to in the same way that a crystalline structure helps to reflect all the many different possibilities. And so I'm grateful to be here with all these and many familiar faces here as we open to the new seeds, the new possibilities for this coming year and the unfoldment of the beauty that's within each of us. So I feel complete. Thank you.
And I would like to add that there's this feeling of trust in this net of love, in all those beautiful faces in this quilt of love, that I feel a sense of safety within this field and reassurance and trust that all is in divine order. I'm complete.
I feel the call is to be present. That for me is wholeness. And the mind is the linear squirrel that takes me out of this present moment. There's the slow down part. There's the pause. There's the listen. listen. Life is calling us, and it is crystalline, and it is unified and whole. A convergence, as was said this morning, convergence. Take that N, and somehow we're converging. And the unity, it's like unity happens there. And that's the 7 days of rest is really remembering and relearning how to be now, present now, in that listening, receptive place. And simply, fly on the silk, fly on the seamless flow, and really be in joy. So there's our invitation. I'm complete.
I would suggest that for some Aboriginal people that being present means actually being in the dream time. So may we be in the dream time, co-creating with the great mystery.
Just wanted. This is Shanti Hart. I just wanted to add one thing about the pauses and the breaks and the music, and the perfection of putting it all together is what creates the harmony. And the harmony is the oneness and the balance, and finding that harmony within ourselves. Our own internal song is something to ponder of a possibility.
So, inviting everyone to take a pause here collectively. And acknowledging that we're building this co-creative field as it's speaking and through us. And I just want to, with this call, we're here for an hour, and want to allow, if there's anyone who hasn't presenced themselves, you're welcome to now by unmuting yourself. And to simply know that we're all holding this field, this home frequency together, that we are the warp threads, and we invite other weft threads. So we're weavers, as we say in the co-creators convergence. We're weavers, leading for the good of the whole, leading with love for the good of the whole. And I just want to share that this call for the beginning of the new year will happen every day at this time. And this call will have a different focus, and I'll post that each day, and that we're building this field of wholeness. And each call, given the fact that we are evolution, being conscious of itself, speaking from that field, it's always new. We're always in the process of building this new earth together, and specifically through rest for this week. So we invite you to come back. Just hold on to that, the ID number and the phone number, the Zoom number. For those of you that are on a phone, you can download Zoom Takes 2 seconds. It's free. And you will be able to see people if that's something that you would like. As well, we have a particular way of ending this call, and it's really fun. And we'll invite everyone to unmute yourselves. And I just, right before we end this call, I just want to share that we really ask you to, if you're feeling something from this call, to invite others. Go on through Facebook and social media or your emails and share this. Where, you know, this is the expression of the feel itself, to allow people to come and feel this community, this ever-evolving consciousness that's expanding. And just a little bit about Good of the Whole, you can go to goodofthewhole.com. And Good of the Whole is where together we're really building this dynamic foundation of this living evolutionary organism, this mothership. And we invite you to be part of that. And what I love about Good of the Whole is what we say is no one owns it, everyone owns it. So it's a platform that enriches everyone. And we have some upcoming events coming up in January beside this, the Revolutionary Happy Hour and things like that. So please come as much as you can over this next week. And from that point on, we will hold this call as an open call for anyone who would like to get on. They need to sign in through Good of the Whole. And we will let you know at the end of this week what time exactly that will be. So with that, everyone can unmute yourself. And I'm too afraid to unmute everyone myself. Make sure you, and this is how we end it. And for those of you, many of you who are on our regular call that have been on for Monday mornings, it's a choir of yum. So we take frequency and we just send it out. It goes like yum,
Yum, yum, yum, yum, yum, yum, yum, yum, yum, yum, yum, yum, yummy, 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 yum, yum, yum,
Yum, yum, yum.
Rest, everyone.
Good rest.
Cheers.
Love, love, love. Thank you for being here. Thank you.
Birthday.
Thank you.
Thank